Buenos días, soy Salvador Villaseñor, responsable de relación con inversionistas de Walmex. Gracias por acompañarnos el día de hoy a revisar los resultados del primer trimestre del 2024. Hoy conmigo se encuentran Guilherme Loureiro, presidente ejecutivo y director general de Walmart de México y Centroamérica, Dolores Fernández Lobe, CMO de México, así como Paulo García, vicepresidente senior de Administración y Finanzas. La fecha de esta transmisión es 24 de abril de 2024. La transmisión de hoy está siendo grabada y permanecerá disponible en www.walmex.mx. Antes de comenzar, quiero recordarles que esta transmisión es propiedad de Walmart de México S.A.B.D.C.B. y está dirigida a los accionistas de la compañía y a la comunidad inversionista. Las referencias que se hagan en esta transmisión respecto al futuro desempeño de Walmart de México S.A.B.D.C.B. deberán considerarse como meras estimaciones que de buena fe ha realizado la compañía. Dichas referencias son simplemente el reflejo de las expectativas de la administración de la compañía y se basa en los datos que actualmente se encuentran disponibles. Los resultados reales dependerán en su totalidad de los acontecimientos, riesgos e incertidumbres que se pudieran presentar en el futuro y que llegaran a afectar el desempeño real de la compañía. Ahora los dejo con nuestro presidente ejecutivo y director general, Gui Loureiro.
Gracias, Salvador, y buenas tardes a todos. Gracias por acompañarnos para conocer los resultados de nuestro primer trimestre de 2024. Estoy contento con el progreso que hemos logrado en todo el negocio al implementar nuestra estrategia de largo plazo. Continuamos ofreciendo precios bajos y que nuestros clientes pueden pagar mientras aceleramos nuestras nuevas verticales para proporcionar soluciones completas, acercarnos más a nuestros clientes y reforzar su lealtad. Este es el resultado del esfuerzo de todos nuestros asociados y una vez más me gustaría agradecerles ya que este progreso no habría sido posible sin su contribución. Comenzamos 2024 con un buen primer trimestre, logrando un crecimiento de doble dígito de ingresos totales de moneda constante y con un crecimiento en la utilidad operativa 80 bps por encima de las ventas. Estamos viendo un efecto positivo del dinero adicional que fluye en la economía gracias a los pagos anticipados del gobierno, aunado a salarios mínimos más altos, lo que ha elevado a que los clientes tengan un mayor ingreso disponible, incrementando el consumo. El trimestre también tuvimos un efecto positivo por calendario de 250 puntos básicos en los ingresos, debido a un día adicional por año bisiesto y el cambio de la Semana Santa a marzo en comparación con el año pasado, que tuvo lugar en abril. Daré más detalles sobre estos resultados en unos minutos. Este trimestre continuamos invirtiendo para mejorar nuestro diferencial y percepción de precios. Estos esfuerzos se han reflejado en la lealtad de nuestros clientes. Me complace mucho compartir con ustedes que este trimestre superamos por 190 puntos base el crecimiento en ventas mismas tiendas de autoservicio medido por la ANTAD. Estamos contentos de que nuestras acciones están resultando en mayores crecimientos, pero estamos conscientes de que aún existen varias oportunidades para mejorar el negocio. Estamos ayudando a los clientes a ahorrar dinero y vivir mejor a través de nuestras tiendas como pedra angular, al mismo tiempo que vamos más allá del retail tradicional para proporcionar a nuestros clientes acceso a los beneficios de la economía digital. Durante el primer trimestre del año, nuestro GMV de e-commerce creció 25%, impulsado por On Demand y Marketplace, ayudándonos a seguir liderando en omnicanal. Además, alcanzamos 13.3 millones de usuarios activos de Byte, un crecimiento de 34% en los ingresos de Walmart Connect y vendimos más de 400,000 membresías de salud. Como les he mencionado antes, estas nuevas verticales continúan creciendo a un ritmo acelerado, a medida que nos volvemos cada vez mejores en conocer las necesidades de nuestros clientes, más allá del retail tradicional de brick and mortar, en cada trimestre que pasa. Ahora, revisemos nuestros resultados durante el primer trimestre de 2024. Por favor, consideren que, cuando hablamos de resultados en Centroamérica, nos referimos a cifras sin efecto de tipo de cambio. Durante el trimestre, los ingresos totales consolidados crecieron 10.8% en moneda constante. México y Centroamérica registraron crecimientos de 11.2% y 8.7% respectivamente. Walmex reportó un crecimiento de doble dígito de 11.6% en la utilidad operativa, muy por encima de las ventas, con México y Centroamérica creciendo 12% y 9.3% respectivamente. Este fue un trimestre positivo tanto en ingresos como en rentabilidad. Paulo profundizará los resultados financieros más adelante en su presentación. Ahora veamos nuestros resultados de ventas en México. Las ventas mismas tiendas crecieron 9.4%, de las cuales aproximadamente 4.1% provino de incremento en ticket y 5.3% de tráfico. Bodega y Sam's Club presentaron el mayor crecimiento como en trimestres anteriores. Walmart Supercenter muestra mejorías, producto de nuestras inversiones en todo el portafolio. Este trimestre, Bodega, Sam's y Supercenter superaron las ventas mismas tiendas de autoservicio medido por la UNITAD. Es bueno ver todos nuestros formatos reportando tasas de crecimiento saludables. En cuanto a regiones, las regiones del centro, sur y metro mostraron un crecimiento en ventas mismas tiendas muy similar, mientras que la región norte mostró un crecimiento ligeramente menor, pero sólido también. En términos de división de mercancías generales lideró el crecimiento este trimestre con un crecimiento de doble dígito, impulsado por las categorías de hogar y juguetes, esta última ayudada por rebajas post-temporada. Todos nuestros formatos, regiones y divisiones de mercancía reportaron ventas mismas tiendas positivas por tercer trimestre consecutivo. Dolores profundizará sobre los principales resultados operativos más adelante en su presentación. Ahora, veamos nuestro desempeño contra el mercado. Durante el primer trimestre del año, crecimos por encima del mercado de autoservicio y clubes medido por UNITAD por 190 puntos base, logrando la diferencia más amplia contra UNITAD en 11 trimestres, parcialmente impulsado por un sólido desempeño de mercancías generales. Esto muestra también que nuestra propuesta de valor está resonando con nuestros clientes. Como mencionamos en nuestro webcast del trimestre anterior, todavía vemos espacio para mejorar y seguiremos innovando para asegurarnos de satisfacer las necesidades de nuestros clientes. Ahora les pasaré la palabra a Dolores para que les comente algunos aspectos operativos destacados y después regresaré para comentar sobre Centroamérica, apertura de tiendas y temas de ASG.
Gracias, Gui, y hola a todos. Repasemos algunos puntos operativos relevantes que han contribuido a los resultados que vieron en los slides anteriores. Seguimos enfocados en nuestra primera prioridad estratégica, ganar en descuento. En este primer trimestre, la percepción de precio de Walmex incrementó 130 puntos base, teniendo Sam's Club y Supercenter los principales incrementos. El énfasis en la percepción de precio es crítico, ya que influye inmediatamente en el comportamiento del cliente y construye confianza y lealtad, aunque sabemos que es una métrica mucho más volátil. Nuestro crecimiento en ventas a mismas tiendas fue liderado por Bodega. Morralla, nuestra ahora permanente iniciativa con precios de artículos entre 5 y 35 pesos en Bodega, sigue siendo un importante impulsor de las ventas. Vendemos 1.3 artículos de morralla por minuto, lo que muestra lo valioso que es esto para nuestros clientes. Durante el trimestre, tuvimos la temporada de Cuaresma, que tiene un fuerte impacto en algunas categorías de alimentos. En nuestros formatos de Walmart tuvimos un crecimiento de doble dígito en estas categorías en comparación con el mismo periodo del año pasado, mientras que en Bodega, por ejemplo, vendimos 35 millones de latas de atún, suficientes para dar una a cada persona en nuestros 3 estados más poblados. Un factor clave para ganar en descuento es la oferta de productos de nuestras marcas. Su calidad y valor son muy bien recibidos por nuestros clientes. Este trimestre, la penetración de nuestras marcas incrementó más de 50 puntos base en comparación con el mismo trimestre del 2023. El mayor incremento vino de mercancías generales, liderada por la categoría de hogar. Nuestras marcas seguirán siendo un elemento clave de nuestra estrategia y continuaremos expandiendo nuestra oferta de productos aprovechando nuestra presencia global, como fue el caso este trimestre con la línea Equate para higiene femenina desarrollada en Walmart Chile. Sam's Club sigue siendo el otro formato que impulsa mayor crecimiento en ventas en mismas tiendas. Durante el trimestre, tuvimos nuestro evento Socio Fest, donde mostramos a nuestros socios el valor de la membresía y todos sus beneficios, reforzando la lealtad. Tuvimos un crecimiento de doble dígito en comparación con el evento del año pasado, impulsado por los socios individuales. Alineados con nuestra filosofía EDLC y para compensar parcialmente los incrementos en costo laboral, seguimos implementando iniciativas de productividad en nuestras tiendas y centros de distribución. Este trimestre, implementamos los primeros self-checkouts en Bodega Aurrerá Express. Además, hemos simplificado algunos procesos en las cajas, como reducir las autorizaciones para cancelaciones, lo que ayuda a reducir 140.000 horas hombre e impactando directamente en los tiempos de espera de nuestros clientes. En cuanto a nuestros centros de distribución, la productividad también ha estado incrementando constantemente. Este trimestre creció a un dígito alto en comparación con el mismo periodo del año pasado. Seguiremos implementando iniciativas adicionales de mecanización y automatización como walkie pallets, nuevos sorters, entre otros. Continuamos apostando en innovación, mejorando la experiencia de compra del cliente y reduciendo nuestro costo de servir en todas nuestras operaciones. Y ahora veamos el desempeño de e-commerce, mientras continuamos siendo líderes en omnicanal. Durante el primer trimestre, el GMV de e-commerce creció 25%, representando el 6,6% del GMV total en México. On Demand continúa siendo el principal impulsor del crecimiento. En bodega, en despensa a tu casa, continúa creciendo, añadiendo cerca de 90 tiendas nuevas con este servicio en el trimestre, ofreciéndolo ahora en cerca de 750 tiendas. Walmart Pass sigue siendo un elemento importante. Los miembros activos crecieron 36% en comparación con el primer trimestre del año pasado. Como les mencionamos hace un par de trimestres, los clientes con membresía gastan más y tienen más del doble de frecuencia en comparación con los que no son miembros. En cuanto a catálogo extendido, acelerar Marketplace es una prioridad clave de e-commerce. Durante este trimestre, Marketplace creció 39% en comparación con el primer trimestre del 2023, con el número de SKUs de Marketplace incrementando cerca de 80% y los sellers incrementando más de un 50%. Hay 3 elementos clave para acelerar el crecimiento de Marketplace, que son Walmart Fulfillment Services, Cross Border y mejorar la experiencia general del seller. Walmart Fulfillment Services se está acercando a representar el 40% del Marketplace total, ofreciendo a nuestros sellers nuestros servicios logísticos con estándar Walmart para llegar más rápido a nuestros clientes. Cross Border tiene mucho potencial y estamos preparando el terreno para acelerarlo. En relación con esto y la experiencia del seller, estamos trabajando en una plataforma front-end estándar de e-commerce en conjunto con otros mercados de Walmart para ser implementada más adelante del año. Esta ofrecerá una experiencia única para los sellers, donde podrán tener un único perfil de ventas a nivel global con acceso a todos nuestros mercados, proporcionando un servicio personalizado para cada país según sus necesidades. Pasando a nuestras nuevas verticales y nuestra prioridad estratégica de ser el ecosistema preferido, empecemos por Byte. Byte alcanzó los 13.3 millones de usuarios activos, 1.5 millones más que el trimestre inmediato anterior y 7.1 millones más que el mismo trimestre del año pasado. Estamos trabajando constantemente en ofrecer más beneficios y mejorar la conveniencia para nuestros usuarios. Continuamos incrementando los puntos de recarga a través de diferentes socios, siendo la aplicación de BBVA el último en unirse. En cuanto a soluciones financieras, este trimestre otorgamos más de 130.000 créditos, un 50% más que el mismo trimestre del año pasado. Y en remesas, ahora ofrecemos Buy and Collect en más de 1.300 tiendas, lo que brinda a nuestros clientes la opción de pagar directamente con sus remesas antes de cobrarles en el punto de venta. Después de escanear sus productos, pueden retirar la diferencia en efectivo. Esto ayuda a reducir las filas y los tiempos de espera, así como al mismo tiempo incrementar el tamaño del ticket. Walmart Connect tuvo un buen desempeño durante el trimestre, al igual que durante todo el 2023. Tuvo un crecimiento de 34%, e implementó 44% más de campañas en comparación con el primer trimestre del 2023. Estamos muy emocionados con el futuro de Walmart Connect. Vemos un gran potencial y estamos muy cerca de lanzar Walmart Luminate, nuestra herramienta colaborativa para nuestros proveedores con data compartida y una visión más clara del cliente, la tienda y el comercio electrónico. En nuestro negocio de salud, este trimestre vendimos más de 400.000 membresías de salud, triplicando la cantidad vendida en el mismo trimestre del año pasado, al entender mejor cómo resolver las necesidades de nuestros clientes. Y en cuanto a nuestro negocio de farmacia, este trimestre tuvimos un crecimiento de 11.4% en comparación con el mismo trimestre del año pasado, ayudado por la temporada de la gripe. Ahora, nuevamente los dejo con Guy para que comente sobre Centroamérica, aperturas de tienda y ASG antes de pasar a nuestros resultados financieros. Fue un placer compartir nuestros resultados operativos trimestrales una vez más y estaré encantada de responder cualquier pregunta en nuestra sesión de preguntas y respuestas el día de mañana.
Gracias, Dolores. Pasando a Centroamérica. Durante el primer trimestre, Centroamérica presentó crecimiento en ventas mismas de 8% en moneda constante. Las ventas fueron impulsadas por el crecimiento de doble dígito en Nicaragua, Honduras y Guatemala, mientras Costa Rica presentó un crecimiento de un dígito bajo a medio, con algunos retos como la deflación. Nuestra propuesta de valor nos está ayudando a lograr un buen crecimiento de volumen en todos los países. Estamos enfocados en nuestra ambición omnicanal, logrando un crecimiento de e-commerce de 84%, desde una base pequeña, incrementando más de 40 puntos base en nuestra penetración de ventas omnicanal. Durante el primer trimestre, Walmart Connect duplicó sus ingresos contra el mismo periodo del año pasado, mientras que nuestras tarjetas cobrandeadas incrementaron la participación en ventas alrededor de 90 puntos base, con incremento en todos los países. Estas acciones contribuyeron a un crecimiento total de ventas de 8.7%, excluyendo los efectos cambiarios, impactado positivamente en 230 puntos base por efectos de calendario. Paulo profundizará en los detalles financieros de CAM más adelante. Ahora, hablemos del crecimiento de nuevas tiendas. Durante el trimestre, abrimos 12 nuevas tiendas, 9 en México y 3 en Centroamérica. La contribución de las nuevas tiendas al crecimiento de las ventas consolidadas fue de 1.8% para el trimestre, por encima de la guía dada en Walmex Day de entre 1.4 y 1.6%. La mayoría de estas aperturas fueron formatos de bodega, principalmente bodega Ahorrar Express, ya que son los formatos donde vemos más potencial para crecer, como compartimos con ustedes en nuestro Walmex Day hace más de un mes. Para finalizar, en nuestro compromiso continuo con los temas de ASG, nos complace compartir nuestros recientes esfuerzos y logros en esta área. En nuestros esfuerzos por proporcionar oportunidades de empleo y contribuir a la economía local, realizamos la Feria Nacional de Reclutamiento, Recruta Fest 2024. Este evento ofreció más de 2.000 oportunidades de empleo, demostrando nuestro compromiso con el desarrollo social y la inclusión económica. En nuestro compromiso de apoyo a la comunidad y ayuda en desastres naturales, donamos 27 toneladas de productos esenciales a las brigadas que combaten los incendios forestales en Guatemala. Esto se hizo en colaboración con el Banco de Alimentos Desarrollo y Movimiento, demostrando nuestro compromiso de ayudar a las comunidades necesitadas. Construyendo sobre nuestro objetivo de apoyar a las empresas locales, formamos una alianza estratégica con Banco Lafice, en Centroamérica, para apoyar a más de 500 productores del programa Tierra Fértil. Esta iniciativa proporciona a estos productores el financiamiento necesario para mejorar su producción local, promoviendo la agricultura sustentable y el crecimiento económico local. Nos enorgullece también anunciar que hemos sido reconocidos como la empresa líder en el sector de autoservicios departamentales en la 11ª edición del ranking de Merco, de las 100 empresas más responsables en México. Nuestros esfuerzos de ASG están arraigados en nuestro compromiso de contribuir positivamente a la sociedad y al medio ambiente. Continuaremos priorizando estos esfuerzos en nuestras operaciones y planificación estratégica. Para finalizar, estoy seguro de que todos están al tanto de los cambios en la dirección que anunciamos hace 2 semanas, donde mencionamos que yo estaré asumiendo un nuevo rol como vicepresidente ejecutivo y CEO regional para Canadá, Chile, México y Centroamérica. Este será mi último trimestre compartiendo los resultados trimestrales de Walmex con ustedes como CEO, por lo que me gustaría agradecer a todos por su interés en nuestra historia a lo largo de los años en que he estado liderando la estrategia de transformación de Walmex. Estoy seguro de que Ignacio continuará fortaleciendo nuestra estrategia omnicanal y confío en que él y su equipo aprovecharán el ecosistema Walmart para proporcionar aún más soluciones para servir a nuestros clientes y seguir ayudándoles a ahorrar dinero y vivir mejor. Gracias nuevamente por acompañarnos hoy y les dejo con Paulo, quien cubrirá los resultados financieros del trimestre.
Gracias, Guy, y buenas tardes a todos. Gracias por acompañarnos hoy para revisar los resultados del primer trimestre de 2024. Empezaré cubriendo los resultados de México y luego pasaré a Centroamérica. Veamos entonces los resultados de México. Como escuchamos de Guy, los ingresos totales crecieron 11.2%, impulsados por un crecimiento en ventas mismas tiendas de 9.4% y por impactos positivos de calendario de 250 puntos base. En línea con el cambio de nuestro trienal que mencionamos en nuestro Walmex Day, el margen bruto se expandió en 40 puntos base, compensando el incremento en gastos generales como porcentaje de ventas de 40 puntos base. Revisaremos el desglose de margen bruto y gastos generales en un momento. Logramos mejorar nuestro margen bruto al mismo tiempo que mejoramos la percepción de precio y nuestra competitividad en el mercado. La utilidad operativa creció 12% y el margen EBITDA se expandió en 10 puntos base a 11.1%, alcanzando de nuevo niveles de clase mundial. Ahora detallando primero el margen bruto. Durante el trimestre tuvimos un beneficio de 40 puntos base, impulsado principalmente por una mejora en el margen comercial omnicanal, beneficios en la cadena de suministro y la contribución de las nuevas verticales. Las mejoras en los márgenes comerciales de nuestro negocio omnicanal y los beneficios en la cadena de suministro aportaron una expansión de 30 puntos base en el margen bruto. Nuestros nuevos negocios, como Walmart Connect, Byte y servicios financieros, que están contribuyendo cada vez más a nuestros estados de resultados, proporcionaron una mejora de 10 puntos base en el margen bruto. Todo esto contribuyó a la expansión del margen bruto, alcanzando 23.9%. Ahora veamos el detalle de gastos generales. Al gestionar los gastos con disciplina y fomentar una mentalidad de costos bajos todos los días, y ayudado por un apalancamiento de las ventas, el cual fue parcialmente impulsado por el efecto calendario, pudimos reducir nuestros gastos de operar 10 puntos base, compensando el incremento en costo laboral. En paralelo, invertimos en prioridades estratégicas de crecimiento, principalmente en nuevas tiendas, nuevos negocios y e-commerce, y mejoramos nuestra propuesta de valor para los asociados. Todas estas inversiones de crecimiento impactaron los gastos en 50 puntos base. Ahora veamos los resultados de Centroamérica. Por favor, consideren que cuando hablo de los resultados de Centroamérica, me refiero a cifras sin efectos de tipo de cambio. Los ingresos totales aumentaron 8.7%, impulsados por un crecimiento en las ventas mismas tiendas de 8.0% y un efecto calendario positivo de 230 puntos básicos, con crecimiento de volumen en todos los países, 3 de ellos alcanzando un crecimiento de ventas de doble dígito. Este trimestre, el margen bruto se mantuvo estable en 24.4%, con la mejora del margen comercial y la contribución de nuevos negocios, Walmart Connect, compensando las inversiones en precio en Costa Rica. Los gastos representaron 17.3% de los ingresos, incrementándose en 10 puntos base. El apalancamiento operativo y las eficiencias no fueron suficientes para compensar las inversiones de crecimiento. Con los resultados mencionados anteriormente, la utilidad operativa creció 9.3%, 60 puntos base por encima de los ingresos, mientras el margen EBITDA de 9.9% en niveles de clase mundial se contrajo 20 puntos base contra el año pasado. A nivel consolidado, los ingresos totales incrementaron 9.8% con una contribución de tiendas nuevas de 1.8% al crecimiento total. La utilidad bruta incrementó 30 puntos base a 23.9% y los gastos generales incrementaron 12.4%. La utilidad de la operación creció 10.6% año contra año, con una margen de utilidad operativa de 8.5%. Finalmente, el margen de EBITDA se expandió 10 puntos base a 10.9%, mientras que la utilidad neta consolidada creció 14.4%, resultando en un margen neto de 5.8%. Ahora veamos el balance general. Nuestra posición de efectivo disminuyó 6.1% en comparación con el primer trimestre de 2023 debido a los dividendos pagados y la inversión de CAPEX en proyectos de alto retorno. Los inventarios crecieron 4.9% por debajo del crecimiento de las ventas, impulsado por la tendencia positiva de las ventas y las reducciones estratégicas de precios, principalmente en mercancías generales. Nuestros días de inventario se redujeron en 3 días en comparación con el año pasado. Y finalmente, las cuentas por pagar crecieron por encima de las ventas, reportando un crecimiento de 17.6% año contra año. En los últimos 12 meses generamos 85.9 mil millones de pesos en efectivo y 8.1 mil millones de pesos a través de capital de trabajo. Devolvimos 46.3 mil millones de pesos a nuestros accionistas en forma de dividendos, incluyendo el dividendo extraordinario pagado en abril de 2023. Invertimos 29.5 mil millones de pesos en proyectos de alto retorno, reflejando nuestro compromiso de acelerar nuestra historia de crecimiento. Pagamos 18.3 mil millones de pesos en impuestos y nuestro plan de acciones para asociados requirió 1.5 mil millones de pesos. Finalmente, operamos nuestro programa de recompra de acciones, recomprando un valor cercano a 1.000 millones de pesos. En total, nuestra posición de efectivo terminó el primer trimestre en 43.8 mil millones de pesos. Para concluir, me gustaría enfatizar los 3 mensajes clave del trimestre. 1. Nuestro momentum de crecimiento en ventas continúa. Este trimestre tuvimos el diferencial más amplio contra ANTAD en 11 trimestres. 2. La utilidad operativa y el EBITDA, superando el crecimiento de las ventas, ayudado por el apalancamiento de las ventas. Y 3. Nuestro ecosistema continúa desarrollándose y nuestros nuevos negocios están incrementando su contribución al negocio general. Nuestro enfoque sigue siendo acelerar el crecimiento por encima del mercado con mejores retornos de inversión. Seguimos comprometidos en crear valor para todos nuestros grupos de interés, clientes, asociados y accionistas. Gracias de nuevo por su interés en nuestra compañía. Estaremos disponibles para responder a las preguntas que puedan tener mañana a las 7:15 de la mañana en nuestra sesión de preguntas y respuestas en vivo. Pueden contactar a nuestro equipo de relación con inversionistas si tienen alguna duda sobre cómo conectarse a la llamada.
Good morning, everyone. I'm Salvador Villaseñor, responsible of IR at Walmex, and I want to thank you for joining us today on our live Q&A session following our first quarter 2024 results that were published yesterday evening. Today with me is Guilherme Loureiro, President and Chief Executive Officer of Walmart de México y Centroamérica, Dolores Fernández Love, Chief Merchandising Officer of Mexico, and Paulo Garcia, our Chief Financial Officer. Now we can open with the first question, please.
The first question is from Mr. Ben Thoreau from Barclays. Please go ahead.
Yeah, good morning, everyone. And first of all, thank you very much for taking my question, Guy. All the best in your new role. Definitely going to miss you. It was a pleasure working with you. So all the best from my side. And I'm pretty sure you will be very successful in that new responsibility. Now, back to the possibility of asking questions. First of all, thanks for that. And my very first one's really around the performance in the quarter and what's been different compared to the prior quarters as to the outperformance. You've laid this out yesterday in the prepared remarks. The same-store sales growth almost 200 basis points ahead of UNTAD, and it was a very broad-based one in different segments. So I just wanted to understand, what have you done different? What are the strategies that you're seeing coming through and coming to fruition as to delivering that outperformance, and how sustainable do you think this is going to be?
Let me start, Ben. So thanks for the question. Yes, we had our board, so I had similar questions on the board. But at the beginning, end of last year, we had discussions about it. In addition to our long-term plan, in addition to the targets we had for this year, what was on my mind? And I said 3 or 4 things that were on my mind. The first one was, I think we never stopped managing this company based on our long-term ambitions and long-term goals. However, COVID, then inflation, etc., sometimes we just more to do short-term things because they just require you to act and to think about tomorrow. But I think that we managed to keep our strategy. But this time, one of the things that was on my mind is that let's go back full to do everything guided by our strategy, guided by long term. And I think that the inflation is slowing down, the end of COVID and all the things allowed us to do things more. And when you do this and you have a good strategy, which we believe we have, I think things start to improve. And you put your attention on the right place. So that is one thing. I'm going to tell you what was that, not necessarily in the order of importance. The second thing is that I'm a firm believer that one of the things we did that contributed to our performance in the last few years is as to change the way we work. So we became more digital. We adopted the agile methodology. We start to think and to implement things more end to end, and the company works better when you do those things. But there are waves of that. When people believe they have learned the new way of working, and they think they are good at it, they start to take shortcuts. So we paid, since last year, we started retraining people. We have turnover and putting more attention to the way of work. And I'm firm believer that this helps a lot. And I think that we are in good shape again on being fully, loyal to the way of working that we decided. Then there were 2 other things. Accelerate things where we're doing well. And I always tell people that I'm not paid to do well and to deliver my targets. I'm paid to take the company to its maximum potential. And I had this perception that some of the things we're doing well, we could do better. We are taking actions to accelerate Bodega, to accelerate Sam's Club, to accelerate Bites and other stuff that we're doing well. And I have some issues that I mentioned it last time. Frankly, I think we will always have issues. This is too big and too complex. But we've been able in the past to fix those issues faster. So Walmart Express, some stuff in general merchandise. I understand the reasons why we're not performing as well as we should, but we need to fix those things faster. And so there was also another set of actions. And I think in all those things, the company responded well. It's not something that started 1st of January. We've been working on those things. So I firmly believe in that. The last 2 years, unfortunately, we had losses to UNTAD in the first quarter. And our business, especially when you have a huge salary increase, the way it's going in Mexico, we can produce savings, and we have savings to do. I think that the new business are going to contribute us to offset those cost increases. But we need to grow. We need to beat the market.
in order to do well. And this quarter, we managed to beat the market. The quarter was also, and I told Paulo, tone down a little bit because we need to be very clear that this quarter has been a quarter helped by one extra day, helped by Easter, helped by the money the government put into the economy that I'm not going to repeat. But at the end, the ultimate measure, exclude all those things. How have you taken the opportunities of those things versus your competitors? So the highlight for the quarter, from my perspective, is that we did better than our competitors, and that is what we need to continue to do.
Perfect. Thank you very much. Congrats again.
Thank you.
Thank you very much for your question. Our next question is from Mr. Felipe Casimiro from Bradesco BBI. Please go ahead.
Hi, everyone. Good morning. I wanted to say the same as Ben. Good luck on your next role. It has been a pleasure working with you these last few years. And I just wanted to hear a bit more on a strategic sense. How has been this transition period for Ignacio? And I'm curious to hear a bit more, there was just one paragraph in the presentation about Ignacio being having this role of continuing this strategy, but I just wanted to hear more. I have my theories, but I wanted to hear your thoughts on why is Nacho the right executive to lead the company at this moment.
Bom dia, Felipe. Okay, I'm going to answer a question just if you promise me to tell your theory. Not necessarily publicly here, but let's do a deal here. So first of all, I'm very glad. Let me go back. Last year or the previous year, in one of the meetings we had with one of our top investors, I received this question. Look, you've been here for some time. Who's going to replace you? What's going to happen? And I said, look, don't look only at my replacement. Look at the whole team. Look at the executive team. And I think we've been reinforcing the team. We have from my perspective, a first-class team. And that is the first thing that makes me accept that moving was the right time, because we have a strong team. Having a good, strong, well-prepared CEO will add to that strong team. So we start from that. We have prepared Nacho, and we have prepared other leaders during this time, because it's not easy to get a CEO for Mexico. The company is very big. So you get very successful CEOs in other companies. To bring them to retail, to live in Mexico, and to do, it's not easy. So the best thing for us is to bring people from outside, do a right mix between veterans in our company and people from outside, and glue them to a situation where they can become CEOs of this. And we have many people that could have taken it. And you saw last year we Christian moved to Chile. So Christian is also a very, very, very seasonal manager. Dolores this time is taking e-commerce. We have done other Chinese in our team, and they're all prepared to do big things and to help. And the fact that we managed to have candidates and we managed to promote somebody from within, I think is a great thing. If you look at our strategy and the business is in very decent shape, but we have a strategy to take us. We have to be very, very, very consistent at our store level. That's the base of everything. And we have great operators within the company at all levels. We have them to move and grow e-commerce and Omni fast, and we have to continue to develop the ecosystem. In this sense, Nacho is more digital than I am, more experienced than I am on this, and I think that he's surrounded by great operators, and we moved him to COO last year, so he could have a good experience running stores and seeing how our operations, but also looking and understanding how the stores being well operated can help us to develop even faster e-commerce and the ecosystem. And I think he's a fast learner. He did it pretty well. So we came to the conclusion that this combination of I could be closer mentoring him. I'm not going to do his job. He's well prepared to do that. And I can tell you, I'm good off turning the page. So, but he has a mentor close to him. And we think it's a good move. I think the company is prepared for that change, and I think he's going to do well. I'm a firm believer that we should stay longer in the job, and I did, but I'm also a firm believer that stay too much longer is not good for the company. And it was time to change, and I think we bring a great team and a great manager, a great leader to do it.
That's amazing. Muito obrigado.
De nada.
Thank you very much for your question. Our next question is from Mr. Bob Ford from Bank of America. Please go ahead.
Hi, Bob. Hey, Guy. Good morning. And congratulations on the promotion in the quarter. And thank you for taking my question. As you know, e-commerce seemed exceptionally strong in the quarter. But when I take a look at the traffic data, it seems particularly weak, especially at Bodega Aurrerá. And I was wondering if you could help us reconcile that. And then, can you also comment on the incremental profitability from Walmart Connect and Byte, please?
Yeah. So let me start on the last question and then upon Walmart Connect has a huge potential. And we said in Walmart Day, this is going to grow exponentially. And I think that we are building more than the numbers that you see there. It's the feedback we are getting from the people that are investing with us on Walmart Connect. So it's everything. In the past, we used to wait till we were very sure if everything would work. There was a fantasy, never like that. This is when we think we have what you call a minimum viable product. We launch it, we alert our partners, and they help us to improve it. The feedback we are getting today from the people that are investing their money into Connect is much better. So I like this thing more than the 30-something percentage growth. It is helping our the customers, most of them are our suppliers as well, to get better return for the value of the money of the investor. I still remember when I was in CPG, there was a famous phrase. I can credit it because I heard so many times that phrase and people credit to different people. The CPG companies knew that half of the money they invest in advertising was wasted. The only problem, they didn't know what was the half that was wasted. And I think we are providing to them good data to show the effectiveness of the money that they invest with us. And I think we are also proving that the money invested in advertising in retail gives better returns, and they are helping us to build all the data, everything. They're feeding back to us what else they need. And I think this is very promising, and it's very profitable. It is very profitable. So in our strategy, what you get is that we know that the cost of doing business in Mexico and in Central America will continue to be there. We have to create new sources of profit that will allow us to pay for this cost increase and to stay even more ahead in terms of price gap. And there are certain things that we are doing for our verticals that you may not yet see. Connect, you are now seeing the P&L. But there are other things that are going to contribute to that are not yet very visible in the P&L because we are now spending money instead of getting more. But they will be very soon. And they will help us to offset those expenses and to generate the increment of ROIC that we promise in our OMX Day. And I don't see our traditional brick and mortar competitors doing similar things. So I think this is going to put us into advantage. So I know that what we are trying to do is very difficult. We need to grow e-commerce even faster because the next stage of growth in terms of Connect is going to come from digital, it's not going to come from stores. and the tech is improving a lot. Everything that we're getting, we look at the future of our business, also look at what Connect is doing in the US, because what they're doing there in terms of tech, it's going to come with the change, which is going to come even faster to Mexico and Central America. So I'm very positive about Connect. And this is going to contribute for us to be able to save our customers from carrying the whole impact of the cost of doing business in those countries. But I'll let to Paulo to give you more details.
Bob, good to see you again. Just to build on the first one, I think Guy said it mostly everything. But just to say, Bob, when we think of Walmart Connect or Byte, as you already referred to that, it just reflecting the growth that we're seeing in the, quite frankly, in the last year, the last quarter. So the contribution that you see is not different than what we've seen in different quarters. Walmart Connect growing constantly above the 30% and also the expansion on Byte. To your question on the e-commerce, you're spot on, Bob. So what you see in Bodega, just in terms of what you're reconciling the numbers, in the case of Bodega, we still continue to expanding the number of stores that we enable for on-demand or grocery fulfilled from store. And therefore, there's a growth there as well that also additional, that is not necessarily comped, which the comp, therefore, is still very healthy. But we see, in particular also in Bodega and on-demand, a bit a reduction, a small 3 to 4% reduction, the average order items in Bodega, and a bit of the frequency as well, where particularly a lot in this quarter, people has gone a lot to the stores. It's not yet a trend. We are monitoring, but that's goes in line with what you're saying, Bob. But the growth comes because, of course, we also enabling more stores on demand and grocery fulfill from stores for Bodega.
Gotcha. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Good.
Thank you very much for your question. Our next question is from Ms. Irma Scars from Goldman Sachs. Please go ahead.
Yes, hi Guy and Paulo and Dolores. Congratulations again. I won't repeat many of the good comments that were made beforehand, but yeah, we just wish you also all the best for the journey and congratulate Ignacio. I hope you can hear me well. Just in terms of questions, the grow expenses that we've seen, they did very well by productivity gains and other revenue gains in other divisions. But those grow expenses, they've been consistently there and weighing on the G&A ratio. How should we think about sort of the investment cycle from here into this line? I know there's a couple of different components going into that, but is it something where we should see leverage in 2024? Or is that further out to right? Just beyond this current cycle.
I will give you the general view. Irma, thanks for the question, and I'll let Paulo give you more details. There's no answer that will respond to all. Depends on the level of maturity of the new business that we are growing and depends on other things. So let me start. So the minimum salary impacts us. And when you have a 20%, and when you have a sequence of years with minimum salary, you have to begin to work not only on minimum salary, but the other levels of the company are affected. So the cost comes immediately. The solution to reduce this cost is not something that we're going to see fully implemented in 2024. And we haven't started only now, but there is, we have done things, for example, the multifunctionals, which brings more, implemented the store successfully. So that helps. We have, we are working on things to reduce our inventory. The main cost we have is about moving merchandise. We have to move less merchandise. And the US has progressed a lot. We had in our supply chain, something that has been very good, but for the future is less good, which is most of our supply chain was cross-docking. And we need to have more staple stock. Having a better balance between staple stock and cross-docking will help us to reduce the inventory at stores. And this takes years, but we didn't start it today. We started some years ago. It is progressing. few years ago, there was no business case for automation. And automation has many great things because first of all, it takes out tasks that nobody wants to do. And the automation does become more efficient, more productive. So we just announced a huge investment on one distribution center that we told you is $500 million. I never saw a number so big, one distribution center. But that distribution center will bring to our stores pallets that serve 2 or 3 meters of shelf. So can you imagine how much the saves are at the stores? So there are lots of things. We are doing further work to optimize in various areas. So it's going to take time. It's going to take time, but they are being well constructed. And some we are going to see during this year. The other thing is that we have to grow fast. The best productivity we can have in our business is to grow fast. That's why we've been building plans and delivering grow faster than before. Part of that growing fast, we see opportunity to accelerate the number of new stores. And when you accelerate the number of new stores, you create a little bit more cost in the short term. But the new stores are delivering good results. But in some of the so we are going to build more stores than we built last year, and last year we built more stores than the previous year. So I think even showing to you numbers that are the comp stores and the new stores, then you understand better this thing. They need to be separate. When you're growing 1% from new stores is one thing. When you're moving more towards 2%, we have said 1.4 to 1.6. But I think we have room to increase even more the number of new stores, and we are happy with the way they are building. And then the ecosystems, they don't cost a lot to build because we are just becoming a platform. Well, it's a learning curve. The big cost is that we don't know how to sell. We didn't know how to sell Byte. We learned. We didn't not know how to sell health membership. We learned. But now we need to learn how that people more automatically renew it. So we spend some money at the beginning, but we decided to start doing those things at a level we were comfortable, but we don't know everything. So they bring a little bit more, but they will pay back. That's why in our financials, we mentioned to you that in the short term, we would increase gross margin in order to pay for that. The plans that we have, in the long term, I can give that gross margin back because I'll be much more efficient. And that will create a competitive advantage because I think that what we are doing that you don't see in the P&L today, my main competitors are not doing. So hopefully most of those new business will work. If they work, and they will, I trust it very much, they will contribute to the return of our investment, and they'll contribute to increase our competitive advantage. Despite the fact we're increasing our gross margin, and again, I hope it's for a couple of years or so, we are protecting Bodega. And because in retail all over the world, when there was a situation similar to Mexico, that costs increased very fast, everybody increased. If you look at our competitors, everybody is happily increasing gross margin, and then you open the door. So most of our increasing margin is not from increasing price and losing price gap. It is from mix, from further negotiations, and from growth. We are trying, so Dolores has a big task this year of incrementing the price, the margin without increasing the prices further than what's needed because our suppliers have increased it.
Just to build up, because Guy, I think Guy said it all the story just a bit specifically. Just to build on Guy said it all the story. I think you will see volatility during the quarters in terms of our results. Irma, as Guy said it, I don't think you should expect in the short term that SG&A, the levers, sometimes with volatility that can happen. And Guy said we will improve in the gross margin, but not at expenses of pricing or price perception. You've seen it this quarter. We have a significant expansion of price perception. We'll continue to do so. and working on initiatives to deliver operational efficiencies in the midterm and the long term, Irma.
I hope that at the end of this cycle of cost of doing business in Mexico increasing, we benefit from it because our customers will have more money, more than it costs to us. And our plans indicate that we are in good shape to get there.
It's really comprehensive
Thank you,
and yes, very good answer. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much for your question. Our next question is from Mr. Alejandro Fuchs from Itaú. Please go ahead.
Hello, Gui. Paulo Dolores Salvador. Thank you for taking my
Hola,
question.
Alejandro.
And first of all, best of
Corto. Let's move to the next. Let's move.
which one?
Alejandro, we couldn't hear you. Can you repeat the
I
question,
think-
please?
Your network is not good, Alejandro.
Oh, assuming ours is.
Yeah, I'm assuming ours. Yes, assuming it's ours. That's good. Go ahead, Alejandro.
Yeah, okay. No, sorry about that. So I have two very quick questions. The first one to Guy on the new verticals and how they're adding to the business. Which one is contributing more today to the overall business? Is it Connect or Byte? And when you look at Byte, right, 1.5 million new active users quarter-over-quarter, which is quite impressive. What is the end goal for Byte? And how do you see this business developing for the future? And then the second one to Paulo, very quickly. I was surprised to see the tax rate being 21%. How sustainable do you see this? And if you could give us some color on what is explaining 21%. Thank you.
Okay, so let me each of the verticals that we are launching have a purpose. And we start from Connect, which is probably the easy one to explain. So Connect is, we do believe, and there is data that proves it, not only in Mexico, but in other places, and the US has done it before. Before, we used to have allergy to earning money on advertising because we thought this was against everyday low price and that suppliers that would invest on advertising would require benefits on the commercial side. So I think that the work we did in the US and the work we did here allowed us to create a business that's independent from the commercial in the sense that we are not going to give to our customers merchandise, curate merchandise influenced by the amount of money people spend on advertising first. No. So that's the rule number one. The second thing is that our competitors, especially the digital ones, they were making a lot of money out of advertising, and that becomes a rule in the future of this business. So we had to develop. It's not so simple. You need a lot of tech. You need a lot of people that understand it. I think now we have a strong team. And I think we're just starting. When you measure the potential of this thing, that's why we mentioned to you guys, we think this can grow fourfold. And it delivers to us a lot of funds to grow the business, to offset the impacts of the cost of doing business. And it gives to our the people that invest in it, a better return on their investment. And we can easily prove it. So it requires tech investment, it requires salespeople investment, and we are building it. But if you look at Byte, it's going to be even, if you look at Connect, it's going to be even more profitable. But today, the SG&A of that business is higher than what it's going to be in the future because we are still in the investment phase. But what even today, when you look at the numbers, they are fantastic and they're contributing a lot to our business. And there's a lot more room to be there. And it plays the role of helping our commercial partners to put that product in front of the customer, helps the customer to have more access to more information, to innovation, and helps us to produce, in our case, it helps us to produce money to help to deliver our P&L in an environment that's always more competitive. Competition grows all the time and the cost of doing business. So that's the role. Different role than the others. If you go to the verticals, what we have in our mind was that there are many unmet needs that our customers have, and that nobody was trying to help them to solve those unmet needs. And the digital world showed us that they can be met, not in a perfect way, but in a very good way through the digital world. The only way that you can serve the customers on those unmet needs is through the digital world. And we started to develop this thing, and many people that are trying to solve it in the digital world, they start to come to us and say, look, can we do things together? And then we realized that we had everything that the customers need available already in the market through digital. And we have these digital companies suffering because their main cost is to acquire customers. And he said, well, we can negotiate on behalf of our customers even better prices that digital can offer and act on behalf of them to have great deals. And from the other side, I can solve the main problem the suppliers have, because they need to drastically reduce the acquisition cost of customers, which we can do for them. And they need millions of customers to make it cheap. So we said we can become a platform that connects the two. And the cost of building a platform is negligible. At the beginning, when we were not yet selling, we start to sell Byte. And Byte came as a great addition, because how can I go my strategy to offer a lot of their unmet needs through digital and my customers don't have internet available because it costs too much? But the harder we work, the luckier we get. So Byte opportunity appeared. We started to sell it. In the first year and a half, we sold 1.5 million Byte. And then it grows exponentially because we learned how to sell. But at the beginning, when you look at the cost of new business, the cost of building Byte was high there in sales. But if you look at long term, the cost of building Byte is very small for the business we are getting. And the customers are responding well. By the way, let me take the opportunity as we're talking to Byte. There's a lot of talk about what are the right numbers for Byte, what are the right numbers for the market. There is a lack of consistency on the way people measure. Some of our competitors consider active customer whoever did some transaction the last year. Some consider 9 months. We consider 6 months. There is also a big discussion about if part of the sales we do and others do is through distributors. When do I consider that an active customer? Is when I sell to the distributor or when the distributor sells to a customer? And the way we measure today, the Altan measures it different. So we are working very hard with Altan and with the IFT to create one measure that everybody has, the same. So we tend to be more conservative than most of our competitors in the way we measure it because we use 6 months. But Altan is even more conservative, and that creates confusion. I'm only going to change when we reach consensus about what's the way. There is no right or wrong way. It's just you need to be clear on the methodology. Till I get a consensus, I'm going to continue to measure the way we have measured before, because then you can see the trend using the same methodology. It will probably move to a more restricted time of what is to 3 months of active users
or lines,
which probably is going to reduce our number and reduce even further the rest of the market because they use even more months than we do. But it's going to be much easier for you guys to judge. But I'm pretty confident that the measures we are showing you, following our criteria, show exponential growth of Byte. What's the limit? I don't know. Because I keep asking our people and I keep pushing them, and every time we increase that number. We beat, I'm not going to repeat what President Dilma said for the Brazilian people here, that when we achieve the target, we are going to double it. We don't have a target, but when we achieve the target, we're going to double it. No, we have a target, but we've been beating our target. So we've been increasing it. The potential of this thing is much bigger than what we are today. Much bigger, simply because our prices, our service is good. There were some issues with Altan, but the issues have happened because Altan is increasing dramatically their capacity. And when they implement, they had some issues, unfortunate, but that's not gonna cause a huge trouble in the medium or long term in terms of growth. And I see a tremendous potential. Every single quarter, I increase the target that the Byte team has. Then Byte was needed. Without Byte, I could not offer the rest. The whole strategy would be ending my customers being able to buy internet. Then you go to health. It's a huge need for now customers. They don't have access to doctors. They don't have discount in pharmacy that my customers that are welfare have. So we are providing their access to the same prices that wealth customers have because they have a health insurance and they get discounts. So now my customer has the same price that others have. We are providing them access to telemedicine, and we are providing them the opportunity to come to our clinic and to our office. We are trying the clinic. And so far the results are very encouraging, but we are going to be slow in the way we implement clinics because there is a lot to learn there. But I think it's doing well. And again, tremendous opportunity. We are also learning how to measure it. Because if you measure it saying, look, you give 5% discount in pharmacy and you sell the health membership for 30 pesos, looks like an idiotic decision. But the average ticket goes up. So Paulo is have done a great job in the last few quarters to explain to us the verticals, not based on the traditional P&L that see things isolated, but more an end-to-end. So we see both things, and it has a huge potential, huge. Then we go to education, and is the one that the board has more difficult to understand. And I think that, yes, we had a very good discussion. First of all, halfway of this strategy, we said, doesn't matter how cheap we offer things, my customer still doesn't have the money. So we said, is there a way that we can influence the amount of money our customer have? And we look like a crazy question, end up giving us good ideas. So if we give them more pesos, their journey to shop with us starts with the remittance they receive. If we manage to find a way to give them more pesos for their dollars, they will spend with us. And that's what we are trying hard. There is a well-established way of doing business in remittance that is difficult to fight, but we are fighting. And if we can't find a way to beat the system, we are creating alternative things where you can buy in the US, in our bodega here, and I can deliver to your family. So we have pilots. We're expanding it. It is still very small. You don't see that. But then you skip remittance. And you also add an emotional thing and a certainty that your family is going to buy food, is going to buy the furniture. So this is very, very promising and increases the amount of money the customer has. Fighting for share of wallet is expensive. Increasing the size of the wallet in a way that most probably they're going to spend with you is much cheaper and much more effective. Nobody offers credit to our people. Or if they offer with very, let's call it heterodox way of chasing the payment. We can't and will never do that. So we are building intelligence in order to be more effective, and we are finding new partners because credit is credit at a decent interest rate. It's another way of increasing the size of the wallets that our customers have. But we have to do that through technology, through data, and we will be able over time to have the best with partners, to have the best credit bureau information for our type of customers. Because they start with the launch of what is a connected program, we are going to have data about the whole relationship of our customers. And if we have data about what they shop with us on the supermarket, internet and telephone data, even past credit data, remittances, the frequency that they receive, the certainty about the future remittance they have, we will be able to do a better job than today. We are able to lend money, and then we're going to help to increase the amount of money they have. When we sell Byte at least seven times better, when you compare the data that we offer and the price, for the ones that were already spending money with our competitors, they're going to spend less, and the rest they're going to buy things with us. For the ones that didn't have access to it, they will have access to the benefits. So I visit customers' house, and some of the people say, look, I couldn't work because I need to look at my kids. I need to go and pick up for safety reasons my kid at school. Now I'm buying and selling things in the internet and I'm making money. So we are giving the possibility that our customers increase. Are you going to see that next month? No, but we are starting to see it. So the combination that we are having in our verticals is helping them to have more funds and then helping them to spend wisely that money, acting on behalf of them to negotiate a very good price for what they need. Education. Look, when you can get education, so your high school for even $100 now you can get, depending on the package you got and depending on the assistance you get from the school. We are now having good discussions with the government because to get the official certification costs more than to take the course that we're offering. So we're telling the government you need to reduce the price of the certification. If we get more educated customers, that will increase the size of their wallet. So some of the verticals are giving results immediately. Some will be more long-term. But we have the luxury that our business allows us to do those long-term things. And that's what I was talking at the beginning. It's very important that despite all the short-term issues our business always has, we do think long-term and we create things that will ensure their long-term. All of that will go back to the core business, and hopefully we're going to increase our price differentiation with all of those things and generate a flywheel. Easy job for Nacho to do now.
Yeah. Alejandro, let me go to your second question, which I'm pretty sure a lot of people on the line will be happy that you ask with. As you'll know, normally you don't get a lot of guidance and shedding light on that particular topic from us. And for the sole reason, because at the end of the day, our tax line reflects tax agreements with the tax authorities. We ultimately don't have the control. We're exposed to interpretations of the law, changes in regulations. You may remember last year we had a tax one-off in terms of different interpretation, the way we actually looked at that in one of the countries in Central America. This year as well, we also had one tax. It was a lower amount, hence we didn't disclose that we didn't see it. So at the end of the day, it stayed at levels where it reflects agreement with the tax authorities, but we are always exposed to changes and we don't shed more light than that.
We don't know what governments are going to do. They all need more money. But what I can tell you is that we are always going to be very competitive because of the things we build.
Next question, guys. Thanks, Alejandro.
Thank you very much for your question. Our next question is from Ms. Renata Cabral from Citi. Please go ahead.
Oi, Renata.
Olá. Good morning.
Renata.
Bom dia.
Bom dia.
Thanks for taking my question. And first of all, congrats, Gui, your promotion, and mostly because of the legacy you are letting for the Walmex. I wish you all the best. So I have two questions here. One about the price perception. I think you comment a little bit about it, but if you can give a more color on how you could get this achievement in this quarter, what was the measures you took to get there? And if this was one of the reasons or the main reasons for the improvement in general merchandising performance. And my second question is regarding the speed of store openings along the year. What do you expect if, I don't know, the second half of the year will be stronger in terms of store openings, and how you're thinking about that? So thank you.
Let me do general, then you expand on price perception. We've been operating for more than 60 years, and we know that when you implement everyday low price very well and consistently, you tend to have a price perception that is bigger than your actual price gap difference. And that is tremendous benefit because it's cheaper to get. The way we measure it, we work similar price perception and price gap. So we said there is opportunity for us to further strengthen everyday low price and then to increase and to get a free benefit because the price perception is going to be bigger than what we actually create the price. We are at a good level in terms of real price gap. We need to make some adjustments that Dolores is going to explain to get more benefit from that big investment we do. I don't think, Dolores may even have a different, I don't think that what happened in quarter one in GM is because of this. We do have good prices, but quarter one GM, think we are improving our business in GM. But part of what happened in quarter one was helped by the extra money the government in Mexico. Before elections, 3 months before, you cannot distribute money. So the government, some of the benefits, the money that the government distribute, they gave it in quarter one twice, and it will only come back after elections. And I think once our customers, they've been refraining from buying general merchandise for a while. Once they saw a little bit more money, they spent it, but they didn't spend. We measured it. They didn't spend the whole money. It's not one of the things they're going to collapse from now on. But they went back, and they went back to stores. And we have a bigger market share in GM stores than we have. We are building the conditions to get our fair share online. So I think it's improvement. We also had to do some liquidations of inventory. So we managed to clean inventory faster than we do in other years. You always start the year with a little bit more inventory than we like because of Christmas, etc. And it's always a pain. But the fact that people had more money, and I think we did the right liquidation strategy, helped us to get a much healthier inventory and made our customers happy as well. So those are the things that happen, but you can explain a little bit more the price perception.
Yeah, Renata, complementing Guy on the price perception, there are different levels of price perception. So the first one was the EDLP, everyday low price, that Guy mentioned. The second one is that we are becoming smarter and more customer-centric on how we invest the money in the price. So we are defining what are the most relevant items for the customer, and we invest more there. So that builds price perception. And the other thing is private brands. We keep accelerating on our private brands. Those private brands build price perception, so that helps to the whole. And the third one is communication. So once you have the right price gap, the right items, the right assortment, affordable assortment for the customer, you communicate it in the right way, and that builds on the price perception for the business. That will be on the first one. And maybe on the second one, we have been in the past year or so better on defining the assortment for general merchandise. We're on the turnaround of the customer value proposition on general merchandise. We accelerated on e-commerce too, so that helps to build on the general merchandise business. And when you have the right items, the right assortment, and the right price, and the customer has more disposable income, it's a good combination to accelerate our business.
Okay. Regarding the new stores, when you are accelerating, and we are accelerating, it looks like more acceleration, but it means a lot of new stores because of the base of our numbers big. You tend to build more stores towards the second half than we would like. We like to build more, but when you are accelerating, it becomes more difficult to do. So there's a phenomenon that because we accelerated last year, and we built a lot of stores in quarter 3 and especially quarter 4, when you see our P&L, they're benefiting from those new stores in quarter 1 and quarter 2. Then in quarter 3 and 4, they're going to benefit from the further acceleration we are taking this year with new stores. So I think that the numbers are going to be good. The good news is that the new stores are producing better numbers than what we had in our plan. So they're giving us more sales than what we had. The last few years have been confusing because you plan a store 2-3 years in advance. You put numbers, then inflation was distorting the numbers, so we need to recalculate what was the target of the new stores. Now it's more settled, so we can see better the performance, and I'm very happy with the performance of new stores.
Thank you, Renata. Okay. Just one thing, because conscious of time, let's make sure that ones that come only have one question. Hopefully we have time for 2 or 3 questions more, if we are able to answer them before we do the closing.
Thank you very much for your question. Our next question is from Mr. Andrew Rubin from Morgan Stanley. Please go ahead.
Hi, thanks very much for the question. Echoing the congratulations. Most of my questions have been answered. Thank you. Maybe just to follow up on the marketplace business, you talked about some of the drivers for growth, fulfillment, cross-border seller experience. I'm curious where you are in each of those as we think about the year, which of those are already kind of mostly unlocked versus where we could see incremental drivers for marketplace moving through the year. Thank you.
Hi, Andrew. Thanks for the questions. We keep working and developing all these areas. So if you think on the cross-border, as we've been saying, Andrew, you may remember, so far we have pretty much we have a lot of quite billions of SKUs on that token, but it's mostly from sellers from China. We've been saying at the Walmex Day, if you may remember, that we want to add lots of sellers this year and up to 10 million SKUs. A lot of that will come from sellers from the US. We're still working on that, and that connects with the platform that we now actually working together with all the countries in Walmart, but in particular US, Canada, and ourselves, because being the biggest markets and where you can do more leverage. I think this is something that you can expect us for the second half of the year to see a bit more on this token in terms of the cross-border sellers from the US. I think that will be one of the biggest levers that we were doing. We've been talking constantly. Another one element, important one, is the continuous improvement in our search capabilities, which the Glass platform that we've implemented was a starter, but of course we need to get to the levels, and we normally use the word, might not be sexy or not, that parity what we have with our parent company in the US, which is so it's a Glass platform 2.0, if you will. And that will allow us, of course, to have a lot more sellers and the tail, because the tail is actually important to increase the number of the SKUs, of course, and the sales, but you can only do that with the algorithm behind the search capabilities that help the customer having the right experience, particularly if you start putting assortment on a categories like apparel as well. So I think these are the 2 areas that we are focusing normally, but maybe Dolores wants to build on something.
You have 3 main components. Tech, which we're behind. And I think this year, next year, there will be a tremendous improvement on that. And US has proven that we can improve tech and get. That will allow you to have more sellers. That will allow you to have better service, better search. We're still not there, but we are coming close. Then you have a work to do on supply chain that we don't talk that much, but you've seen that we've been increasingly spending money on supply chain. And again, we get huge support from our parent company because they are well advanced on that. So how to build a supply chain that's efficient, that help us to have a good service level, consistent and good service level. And at the beginning, you only see the cost part of that supply chain, but I think we have done a lot in the last few years, more to come. The automation here that helps a lot the service, which was of something that was no payback. Today there is payback. So you see gradually we investing on automation that will not only reduce costs, but improve the service. And then you have the merchandise strategy. The merchandise strategy is one of the reasons we now think we are at the stage that Dolores could do a better job leading e-commerce for us. So that's why we changed it. And I think she will do a great job of improving that merchandise side and the whole decision about what's in store, what's in 1P, what's in marketplace. She's not starting today. She has done a lot of the job on this thing the last 2 years. But we talked that the other two are now, we are doing it. So the merchandise we want to reinforce it more, and Dolores can explain what is in her mind for that.
Yeah, definitely. Just to complement on the tech part and how do we progress on the different size sellers, platform, and fulfillment services. Q3 and Q4 is where we're going to see some of this happening. We said we were going to increase 10 million SKUs in our assortment for the end of the year. So you're going to be able to see that enabled by the technology and the changes we're going to have this year. And the second part of what Guy just mentioned, I'm strongly believe that having this new structure, we had already started making some changes within the merchandising team. This connection and better synergies between e-commerce and the merchandising team in Walmex is going to help us accelerate the business and accelerate a seamless experience for our customers. So I'm convinced that you're going to start to see more acceleration and a better strategy on the assortment on the different channels that we have. It's going to be more efficient and more appealing for the customer.
And you, Andrew, every quarter we will report back on the numbers we put on Walmex Days so that you see the progression and what we promised. Okay? Thank you very much, Andrew.
Perfect. Thank you all. Very helpful color.
Thank you.
Thank you very much for your question. Our next question is from Mr. Rodrigo Alcantara from UBS. Please go ahead.
Hi, guys. Thanks for taking my question, especially now that we want to miss you, Guy. So I guess that just very curious here on your thoughts regarding, from 1 to 10, how well would you say that, or the areas for opportunity that Walmart has to improve or to leverage more on the commercial and strategic relationship with Walmart US? Now that you've been promoted to a different position, do you think that there are still areas for to take this relationship to the next level? That would be my question, Guy.
Yes, I think in everything. So go back to our international strategy. So it said about strong local business powered by Walmart. But I think Walmart has done, let's start from tech. So Walmart has done huge investments in tech with good results. So who would say some years ago that we could be a good competitor to Amazon? And I don't think that people now doubt about it. But the way we were structured would mean that not everything that was developed for the US could be replicated in the countries. We have changed the structure. So some years ago, like my head of technology reports to the international head of technology, who reports to the global head of technology, and they have dotted lines with us. And international has worked to be much more present from the development part. So what Paulo called parity is a decision that we took, which is going to be tough in the first year or so. but then we would replicate things easily because we will prepare to receive and they will have developed things prepared to give to us. So the next couple of years are tougher, but also they start to bring things that Dolores mentioned. So from quarter 3, we start to benefit. I have to give up on some of my Mexican projects in order to gain more by getting more from the global company. And that's fine. The fact that our strategies are very similar helps, because it doesn't help if you try to have parity on tech, but our strategies are very different. So the strategy is very similar. Countries are at different stages on it. So I'm very, very, very positive. Supply chain, the amount of investment the U.S. has done, the amount of capabilities they have built, the professionals they have hired is tremendous. And to give you like the new distribution center is just one example. It was built with a huge help from our U.S. supply chain team, from our international. I don't need to have capability in every country about automation, but I need to have this capability within the company, and I need them to be available to help. So another day, we were all touring with this Walmart US CEO to see our automation work from the point of view of business. So they are available to help us. They're willing to help us, and I think this is a huge progress. I would not be able to build plans on supply chain the way we are building without their help. And they're there, great help. Commercial side, Dolores is fully aligned. So you have the US team, so she's in constant talk. You have international, so the global sourcing team, it works in international. They serve the whole world, including the US, but Andrea, who tremendous leader that we have leads it, she sits international. So we have full help from them. So I think the company has better organization, better willingness, and the fact that our U.S. business has progressed so much also gives them more time to dedicate to the rest, and they're willing to do so. So Dolores can give more color on the merchandising part.
Yeah, two things. No, and maybe just to add there, Rodrigo, is today, after this meeting, we're having the Growth Summit, which is a summit for many suppliers. And the main goal of that summit for small and medium suppliers is to open the doors not only to sell to Mexico, but also to sell to the rest of the Walmart market. So there's a lot of connection and interest, I would say, in the company as a whole, to be better connected and leverage not only supplier-based technology and supply chain, as he mentioned. So this is a very relevant event for us to open opportunities for Mexico, to open them to the US. So there's people from the US and from Marketplace particularly coming to this event to see what Mexico has to offer and provide in the marketplace all over the world.
Okay, thanks, Rodrigo. I think we have time for one quick last question. Gracias, Rodrigo.
Thank you very much.
Wraps up.
Thank you very much for your question. Our next question is from Mr. Hector Maya from Scotiabank. Please go ahead.
Perfect. Hi, good morning. Congratulations for your new endeavors. Thank you for taking my question. We saw that 1.5 million new Byte users this quarter was basically 10 times more of what other telecom companies like Telcel or AT&T are getting. So do you think that this could be the base growth for Byte? And considering that Byte users tend to go 20% more times to the store, I was wondering how much this could be boosting sales. Thank you.
I think, as I mentioned before, there's a good growth, and I see no reason for us to continue to have good growth in the future for Byte. The potential is huge. It's there. Autan is making investments to their network. So that's one of the reasons of some disruptions we had. We are fully aligned with Autan. Customers are learning more about it. I think the bite potential is much bigger than what it is today. So I expect that we'll continue to grow fast in bite. I have my own numbers in terms of what's the potential. I'm going to share with you because you're going to think I'm crazy. It's big.
Gracias, Hector. So lots of potential we'll see there. So Guy, over to you.
He always kills me when I say those
I know,
things.
I don't. Guy, over to you just to close the session.
So I don't want to finish this without thanking you guys. So I must say it's not easy to sit here and have all of you that are very experienced and very knowledgeable about our company, challenging us and trying to understand us better. It's our job to make it, to make things clear to you. But it's not easy. But I want to finish this. This is my number 34 quarterly results. Was yesterday my number 34 board as Walmart CEO. I will continue to be in the board. And at some stage, I will become the chairman of the board. But I want to finish just saying thank you and saying to you, you make us better. You make us better because you make us think from different angles. You make us be more transparent. And when you are more transparent, you can hear criticism. And so I just want to leave a message of you do a very good job. Sometimes we may get upset, but normally it's because you're right. So thank you for helping us to build a better business. Thank you very, very much. Very, very much.
See you guys. Thank you very much.
See you.